A special thank you to each of our subscribers who make this channel possible. Here's today's story. In a move that has sparked significant controversy and debate, U.S. President Donald Trump has signed an executive order requiring proof of citizenship for Americans wishing to vote in federal elections. The order, signed on Tuesday, March 25, 2025, aims to address what Trump claims is rampant election fraud, a claim that has been widely disputed by experts and critics. The executive order mandates that prospective voters provide a U.S. passport or other valid government-issued identification when registering to vote. This requirement has raised alarms among progressive groups and voting rights advocates, who argue that it could disenfranchise millions of eligible voters, particularly those from marginalized communities who may lack easy access to such documentation. Trump's rationale for the order is rooted in his persistent assertions that the electoral system is plagued by fraud, particularly concerning mail-in voting. Despite studies showing that instances of non-citizen voting are exceedingly rare, Trump has repeatedly claimed that mail-in ballots are a significant security risk. "We've got to straighten out our election," Trump stated during the signing ceremony at the White House. He further emphasized his belief that this executive order would help restore integrity to the electoral process, stating, "This country is so sick because of the election, the fake elections, and the bad elections, and we're going to straighten it out, one way or the other." The executive order also stipulates that all ballots must be received by Election Day, effectively barring the counting of mail-in ballots that arrive after the polls have closed. This aspect of the order is particularly contentious, as many states currently allow ballots to be counted if they are postmarked by Election Day, even if they arrive later. The order threatens to reduce federal funding for states that do not comply with the new regulations, further intensifying the stakes for state election officials. Critics of the order, including Lisa Gilbert, co-president of the advocacy group Public Citizen, have condemned it as a blatant attack on democracy. Gilbert stated, "Donald Trump's executive order would compromise our election systems, suppress the votes of millions of Americans, especially voters of color, and pave the way for still more Trumpian false claims of election fraud." Similarly, Richard Hassan, a law professor and election law expert, expressed concerns that the order would disenfranchise millions of eligible voters who do not have ready access to the required forms of identification. He noted that while the order may prevent a tiny fraction of non-citizen voter registration, it would disproportionately impact those who are legally entitled to vote. The implications of this executive order extend beyond just the immediate requirements for voter registration. Advocacy groups estimate that around 146 million Americans do not possess a passport, and research from the Brennan Center indicates that approximately 9% of eligible U.S. voters, equating to about 21.3 million people, lack immediate access to proof of citizenship. This raises serious concerns about the potential for widespread voter suppression, particularly among communities of color, low-income individuals, and the elderly. In response to the executive order, Democratic leaders have labeled it as misguided and illegal. Representative Joe Morell from New York described the move as immoral, while Democratic attorney Mark Elias has threatened legal action to challenge the order. The legal landscape surrounding voting rights in the U.S. is complex, with individual states holding significant authority over their electoral processes. Although Congress has the power to regulate certain aspects of voting, the Constitution grants states the autonomy to determine how elections are conducted. Trump's latest executive action comes amidst a broader national conversation about voting rights and election integrity. While Republicans have increasingly pushed for stricter voting laws, Democrats have advocated for measures that enhance accessibility, such as mail-in voting and early voting. The former president's order appears to be a direct response to the 2021 executive order signed by President Joe Biden, which aimed to increase voter registration and participation. As the political landscape continues to evolve, the fallout from Trump's executive order is likely to unfold in the coming weeks and months. Legal challenges are expected, as many states and advocacy groups prepare to contest the new requirements in court. The debate over voting rights and election integrity remains a contentious issue in American politics, with both sides firmly entrenched in their positions. As the nation approaches the next election cycle, the implications of this executive order could have lasting effects on the accessibility and fairness of the electoral process. That's all for this story. We upload videos every day covering many different subjects, so hit that subscribe button to stay informed. Thanks for watching.